Big news has just been confirmed, and for millions of older Americans, this could mean more money arriving in monthly Social Security checks very soon. If you worked before 1997, there's a major update you need to hear carefully, because this increase could directly affect your benefits, and many retirees still have no idea they may qualify. For years, countless hard-working people paid into the system without realizing that certain rules reduced the payments they were entitled to receive. Now, changes tied to older earnings records and updated benefit calculations are finally opening the door for higher payments for many pre-1997 workers. That means if you spent years in the workforce before that cutoff date, your monthly income could be larger than expected. In this video, we'll explain exactly who may qualify, why this increase is happening now, how much extra you could receive, and what steps you should take to make sure you don't miss out. These changes matter, especially when every dollar counts toward groceries, bills, and peace of mind in retirement. Stay with us, because this update could put more money in your pocket, and if you find this helpful, please like this video so more seniors can learn about these important new benefits. What makes this announcement so important is that it is not just another routine cost of living adjustment that comes and goes every year. This is different, because it reaches into the history of how Social Security benefits were calculated for millions of Americans who spent decades working, contributing payroll taxes, and trusting that the system would eventually return what they had earned. For many seniors, especially those who worked long before 1997, there has been a lingering problem buried in the benefit formula, one that has affected monthly checks in ways most people never fully understood. Now that this increase has been confirmed, many retirees are finally starting to realize that their payment amounts may be changing in a meaningful way. A lot of people assume Social Security is simple. You work, you pay in, and when retirement comes, the government calculates your benefit and sends you your check. But anyone who has ever tried to understand their earnings record, benefit statement, or retirement calculation knows it is far more complicated than that. The truth is, older workers, particularly those whose employment history stretched back before digital wage reporting became standardized, have often faced discrepancies, outdated earnings records, or benefit calculations that did not fully reflect all their eligible income. In some cases, years of wages were undercounted, missing, or interpreted under outdated rules that no longer match current correction standards. That is why this new increase is getting so much attention. The confirmed change is tied to a recalculation affecting many workers whose earnings histories began before 1997, especially those whose records may now qualify for updated review under revised adjustment formulas. For some retirees, this may mean only a modest increase each month. But for others, it could amount to a noticeable rise in benefits that makes a real difference in daily life. When grocery bills are higher, medications cost more, and utility prices continue rising, even an extra $50 or $100 a month can ease financial pressure in a very real way. What surprises many people is how often these adjustments go unnoticed simply because nobody tells them clearly enough. A senior may continue receiving the same monthly amount for years without realizing their payment could be corrected upward. Some assume that if the Social Security Administration made a mistake, it would automatically fix itself. Unfortunately, that is not always how it works. While some increases are applied automatically, others depend on records being updated, claims being reviewed, or eligibility being verified against historical earnings data. That is exactly why this topic matters so much right now. If you worked before 1997, this is the moment to pay attention to your own earnings history. Think back to those years when records were often paper-based, employer reporting was slower, and wage documentation could be incomplete. Many people changed jobs, moved states, worked part-time, or had interrupted careers while raising families or caring for loved ones. Those gaps sometimes created inconsistencies that followed retirees into benefit calculations decades later. Today, as these reviews expand, some of those overlooked records are being revisited, and that can lead directly to higher monthly payments. There is also another reason this matters. Many seniors wrongly assume they are not eligible simply because they already started collecting benefits years ago. That is one of the biggest misunderstandings surrounding these increases. Being retired already does not automatically disqualify someone. In fact, many of the people most likely to benefit are already receiving Social Security and may now qualify for recalculated payments because their old earnings records are being reassessed under newer review methods. That means this increase is not just for new retirees. It may affect people who have been collecting checks for quite some time. And here is where things become especially important. Some eligible seniors may also receive retroactive payments if their recalculated benefit amount shows they were underpaid in prior months. That possibility has generated enormous interest because it means the impact may not stop at future monthly increases. In certain cases, back payments could arrive as lump sums covering missed benefit differences. For retirees living on fixed incomes, that kind of adjustment can provide welcome breathing room, helping cover overdue bills, medical costs, repairs, or simply restoring a little financial stability after years of stretching every dollar. Now, if you are watching this and wondering whether this applies to you, the first thing to understand is that eligibility depends on several factors, including your work history, reported earnings before 1997, and whether those records were fully accounted for in your original benefit calculation. Some people had mixed employment histories that included government jobs, private sector work, or pensions from positions not always covered under the same Social Security formula. Others may have earnings that were delayed in reporting or affected by old administrative gaps. That is why no one should assume they are excluded without checking. This is also a good moment to remind everyone, please do not ignore your Social Security statements. Those annual earnings summaries are more than paperwork, they are your financial history on record. If there is a missing year, an inaccurate wage amount, or an incomplete employer record, that information can directly affect what you receive every month. Too many seniors toss these notices aside because they seem confusing or technical. But reviewing them now could reveal whether your benefit amount deserves closer examination. And if this information is helping you so far, take a moment to like this video, because that simple click helps more seniors find updates like this and avoid missing money that may rightfully belong to them. Another reason this increase has captured attention is because it arrives at a time when many retirees feel squeezed from every direction. Inflation has changed retirement budgeting dramatically. The same Social Security check that once covered monthly essentials now often falls short. Food costs have climbed, rent and property taxes continue rising in many areas, and prescription costs remain a constant burden. So when benefit increases like this are confirmed, they are not just numbers on paper. They represent relief, dignity, and reassurance for seniors who spent decades working hard and deserve every cent they earned. For some viewers, this may bring mixed emotions. There is excitement, of course, but also frustration. Many retirees are asking the same question: why did it take so long? Why were these underpayments not corrected years ago? Those are fair questions, and they reflect a larger reality about Social Security administration. The system is enormous, complex, and dependent on records spanning entire lifetimes. Errors can remain hidden for years, especially when tied to older employment data. What matters now is that corrections are happening, and that those affected know to look into their status rather than assume nothing applies to them. Families should pay attention as well. Adult children helping elderly parents manage finances may play a critical role here. Many seniors are overwhelmed by paperwork, online portals, or long phone waits. If you help a parent or grandparent with their retirement documents, now is a valuable time to review their earnings record with them. Sometimes a second pair of eyes catches something important that has been overlooked for years. A simple review could uncover missing wages that translate into higher monthly benefits. There is also an emotional side to this story that often goes unspoken. For many older Americans, Social Security is not extra money, it is survival income. It is the difference between paying for heating in winter or going without. It is what keeps medicine cabinets stocked and refrigerators full. That is why every adjustment matters. Every correction matters. Every overlooked dollar matters. Behind every recalculation is a real person who spent years contributing labor, skill, and time to build the economy, trusting those contributions would someday support their retirement. If you have already checked your benefit statement in the past and found nothing unusual, do not assume there is no reason to look again. Updated reviews and recalculations can happen after prior statements were issued. New corrections may reflect information not previously included, especially where older archived wage data is concerned. That means someone who saw no discrepancy 2 years ago may still find a meaningful adjustment now. Many seniors are also asking how soon these increases could appear. Timing can vary depending on when records are processed, how individual cases are reviewed, and whether automatic recalculation applies. Some recipients may notice changes in upcoming payment cycles, while others may wait longer if additional verification is needed. Patience is often required, but awareness is critical. Those who know what to watch for are far less likely to overlook important notices or miss requests for updated documentation. And let's talk honestly about scams, because whenever Social Security news makes headlines, fraud attempts increase. If someone calls claiming they can unlock your higher payment for a fee, be extremely cautious. Legitimate Social Security adjustments do not require payment to claim benefits you are entitled to receive. Never share personal information over unsolicited calls, and always verify communications through official channels. Sadly, scammers often target seniors precisely when major announcements like this create urgency and confusion. For retirees who do qualify, this increase can offer more than financial relief. It can restore confidence. There is something powerful about knowing that after years of uncertainty, the system is finally recognizing earnings that should have counted all along. That acknowledgement matters. It validates decades of work that may have gone undercounted and reminds retirees that their contributions were not forgotten. And if you are sitting there wondering whether this sounds too good to be true, that hesitation is understandable. Many people have heard promises before and seen little change. But this is exactly why staying informed matters. Information is what protects people from missing opportunities. Information is what turns uncertainty into action. Even if your increase ends up being small, knowing where you stand gives you control over your financial planning and helps you make better retirement decisions moving forward. As this process unfolds, one thing is clear: seniors who stay engaged, review their records, and ask questions are in the strongest position to benefit. Silence and assumption are what cause people to miss out. If there is one takeaway from today's update, it is this: never assume your current benefit amount is final if your work history stretches back before 1997. There may be more owed to you than you realize, and the only way to know is to pay attention now. So keep watching your statements, keep an eye on official notices, and keep this conversation going. Share this video with friends, spouses, siblings, and neighbors who may also qualify, because many seniors still have no idea these changes are happening. The more people who hear about this, the more retirees can protect their rights and claim what they earned through years of hard work. And that is exactly why this update matters so much today. As we come to the end of this important update, there is one message that deserves to stay with every single person watching today: do not overlook this opportunity, and do not assume it has nothing to do with you. Far too many seniors hear news like this, think it applies to someone else, and then move on without ever checking their own records. Months later, they discover they could have qualified for a higher payment all along. By then, they are left wondering how much they may have missed simply because no one explained it clearly enough. That is exactly why conversations like this matter. Social Security is not just another government program sitting in the background of retirement life. For millions of Americans, it is the financial backbone that keeps everything else standing. It helps cover housing, food, prescriptions, transportation, insurance, and all the everyday costs that never stop arriving. When even a small increase becomes available, it has the power to make life easier in ways that are deeply meaningful. Sometimes it means less stress at the grocery store. Sometimes it means being able to refill a prescription without worry. Sometimes it means sleeping better at night knowing there is just a little more room in the budget. And for those of you who worked before 1997, this moment carries special importance. You belong to a generation that spent decades building careers in a very different system, long before today's digital record-keeping made tracking wages easier and more accurate. Many of you worked during years when payroll records were stored on paper, when reporting delays were common, and when changes between employers could easily create missing or incomplete earnings histories. Those older systems left room for mistakes, and those mistakes sometimes followed people into retirement without ever being caught. That is why this confirmed increase is more than just a policy update. In many ways, it is a correction of the past. It is an acknowledgement that some earnings may not have been counted properly and that some retirees may now finally receive benefits that more accurately reflect what they earned through years of labor. That matters not only financially, but emotionally too. After a lifetime of work, every retiree deserves to know that their contribution has been recognized fairly. If there is one thing you should do after hearing this video, it is take action while this information is fresh in your mind. Check your Social Security records. Review your earnings history carefully. If something does not look right, ask questions. If you are unsure whether your benefits were calculated correctly, seek clarification. If you know someone older, a spouse, sibling, neighbor, parent, or close friend, who may qualify, encourage them to look into it as well. So many seniors miss out simply because they never hear about these changes until it is too late. And let's be honest for a moment, retirement finances can feel exhausting. After years of managing bills, stretching fixed incomes, and adjusting to rising prices, many people are tired of complicated forms and confusing benefit notices. That exhaustion is understandable. But this is one of those moments when a little extra attention can make a lasting difference. Even if the increase seems modest, it can add up significantly over time. A monthly adjustment that feels small at first can mean hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars over the course of a year. For some of you watching, this may also be about peace of mind more than money. There is comfort in knowing your benefits are accurate. There is reassurance in understanding where your retirement income stands. Uncertainty creates stress, especially when budgets are tight. Clarity gives you confidence. And in retirement, confidence matters. It helps people plan better, make smarter decisions, and feel more secure about the future. Another important reminder is this: stay alert and protect yourself. Whenever there is major Social Security news, scammers begin targeting seniors with false promises, fake phone calls, and misleading offers. No legitimate agency will charge you a fee to access benefits that belong to you. No official representative should pressure you into giving private information over the phone without proper verification. If something feels suspicious, pause and confirm through official Social Security channels before taking action. Protecting your information is just as important as claiming the benefits you deserve. What makes this story especially powerful is that it reminds us something many retirees need to hear more often: your work mattered. The decades you spent showing up, working long hours, raising families while balancing jobs, paying taxes, and contributing to the economy all matter. These benefit increases are not gifts. They are not bonuses. They are part of what you earned. That distinction is important. Social Security reflects a lifetime of contribution, and every correction that restores missing value is a recognition of that lifetime. And if today's news does not affect you personally, that does not make it any less meaningful. You may know someone it does affect. Perhaps a brother who retired years ago. A neighbor living quietly on a limited income. A widow unsure whether her late spouse's earnings were fully counted. Sharing this information can help someone else claim what they may not realize they are owed. Sometimes one conversation changes someone's financial future more than we ever expect. That is why I encourage you not to keep this update to yourself. Share it. Talk about it. Bring it up with family members and friends. Ask questions together. Compare experiences. The more seniors stay informed and support one another, the harder it becomes for anyone to fall through the cracks unnoticed. Information creates awareness, and awareness creates opportunity. And before we finish, I want to say this directly to every senior watching: never underestimate the value of staying informed. Rules change. Policies shift. Benefit calculations are updated. New corrections emerge. What was true about your Social Security payments 5 years ago may not be true today. Staying current is one of the best ways to protect your retirement and make sure your finances reflect what you have rightfully earned. Thank you for spending this time with me today and being part of this conversation. These updates matter because you matter. Your retirement matters. Your financial security matters. If this video helped you understand this Social Security increase more clearly, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected for future updates designed especially for seniors who want trustworthy, easy-to-understand information without confusion or unnecessary jargon. There are more important changes ahead, and we will continue bringing them to you in a clear and simple way so you never feel left behind. Until next time, stay informed, stay cautious, and most importantly, make sure you claim every dollar you have earned, because after a lifetime of hard work, you deserve nothing less.